This sort of notion of the intersection between government and social innovation and the issues of getting to scale and having money follow the best performance. Just in terms of setting the context, do you guys want to just share, I mean, Meryl, you mentioned sort of the frustration you saw which led to your suing government over individual wrongs, and Kim, you might want to just mention sort of what are the common complaints that you hear of social entrepreneurs in your portfolio about their frustrations working with government, or where they see government could be better in enhancing their work. And Lisette, you, from either perspective, your own now or from within government, sort of setting the context for what are the sort of problems that we're trying to change if we can.
So I'd say that for us, there's sort of two themes, and one theme has to do with barriers to working with government. Government has historically had a set of eligibility requirements that typically social entrepreneurs organizations don't fit. Government typically hasn't allocated resources on a performance basis, so social entrepreneurs can't compete for it. Often social entrepreneurs are trying to do things that stir up systems and don't have the kinds of institutional supports that enable them to slot into the pre-existing categories that government slices and dices the world with. So there are many of those kinds of barriers, and they are pervasive across any area that deals with social sector problems. The other barriers for social entrepreneurs, though, had to do with what the generation of social entrepreneurs that has grown up over the past 20 years share, and that is essentially an anti-government bias. We're seeing a big shift away, and I could imagine in a couple of years people will look at us and say, what? I mean, what is that about? But especially in about a year. But if you look at where social leaders go, in earlier generations, they went into government. Government was the solution. Then we went through a pendulum swing where government became the problem, and the social entrepreneurs who have started organizations over probably the past 20 years, for the most part, were people without government experience, didn't really understand policy making, started their organizations with the expectation that if they could build it like a business and scale it like a business, they could solve more problems than by interacting with government. And there are some notable examples like City Year, but truly, I mean, even Gerald, the head of Europe, talks about this, and Europe is one of our portfolio organizations, so we have a deep relationship. But there's a sort of light bulb that went on for many social entrepreneurs over the past several years, saying if we don't engage public resources and if we don't engage in the policy debate, we're basically sticking our fingers in the dike while the water runs over the top. And not only that, but a few years back, playing into the hand of people who think government should retrench from addressing social problems. So social entrepreneurs pointed to as a kind of panacea. And I think that has really shifted. I mean, we have worked very hard to be part of making that shift, and I think could take a small amount of credit for it, but I think it's really a pendulum that is swinging a bit, and certainly a sense that there's a vision that government has a positive role, but it needs to be a different kind of role that is more pervasive now. What we're seeing is social entrepreneurs now starting to figure out that they need to learn how to work with government and learn how to speak that language and engage in policy. When we get more into the specifics of America Forward, if we do, I'll talk more about that.